Good evening, everyone, and welcome to 30 minutes of Torah study for the Torah portion of Chukas. We're going to begin with a brief overview of the Torah portion. Moshe is taught the laws of the red heifer, whose ashes purify a person who has been contaminated by contact with a dead body. After 40 years of journeying through the desert, the people of Israel arrive in the wilderness of Zin. Miriam dies, and the people thirst for water. God tells Moshe to speak to a rock and command it to give water. Moshe gets angry at the rebellious Israelites and strikes the stone. Water issues forth, but Moshe is told by God that neither he nor Aaron will enter the promised land. Aaron dies at Hor Hahar, Mount Hor, and is succeeded in the high priesthood by his son Elazar. Venomous snakes attack the Israelite camp after yet another eruption of discontent in which the people speak against God and Moshe. God tells Moshe to place a brass serpent upon a high pole, and all who gaze heavenward will be healed. The people sing a song in honor of the miraculous well that provided them with water in the desert. Moshe leads the people in battles against the Amorite kings Sichon and Og, who seek to prevent Israel's passage through their territory and conquers their lands, which lies east of the Jordan River. So pretty exciting parsha. There's a lot going on. We're going to be focusing tonight on two major losses that the Jewish people experienced at this time. Number one, the loss of the well of Miriam. The Jewish people traveled for 40 years in the desert. Where do you find water in the desert? There was a miracle. There was a well that provided water for the Jewish people the entire 40 years that they were in the desert. It traveled with them. It came with them from place to place. It was a miracle that the Jewish people merited due to Miriam. Another major loss that the Jewish people suffered is the clouds of glory. Aaron passes away. The clouds of glory were in merit of Aaron. The clouds of glory protected the Jewish people, surrounded the Jewish people, and as soon as he passed away, they were lost. So, as I said before, Miriam passes away. The water is gone. The Jews complain. They complain to the extent that they say, "We wish we never left Egypt. We would rather be slaves in Egypt today than to die of thirst in the wilderness." Moshe is upset. Moshe is frustrated. God tells Moshe, speak to the rock due to the chaos and the rebellion that's taking place. He hits the rock. Water comes out. The Jews are happy. However, God is not. God says, Moshe, you had an opportunity to sanctify the name of God. You did not do so. You are not going to be able to go into the land of Israel. Moshe is going to die in the desert. Aaron passes away. The clouds of glory disappear. The clouds of glory are gone. It would appear this emboldens the enemies of the Jewish people as one of the Canaanite kings decides to attack the Jewish people. Now, if you look at these two major losses, we see one major difference. When the well of Miriam disappeared, the Jews complain, the Jews rebel, the Jews revolt, riots take place in the camp. Yet, when the clouds of glory disappear, which would appear to make the Jewish people vulnerable to a military attack, no complaint, no comment. The Jews are calm, no response, and no riots. So question number one, why was there no outcry from the Jews about the removal of the clouds of glory as there was with the well? In order to answer the question, we need to explore the concept of the clouds of glory. The idea that there were clouds that accompanied the Jewish people and that protected the Jewish people appears multiple times throughout the Torah. However, the wording is not always the same. In fact, it is slightly different in each scenario. One of the places where they are referred to is the holiday of Sukkot. We are told that we are to dwell in booths. Why do we dwell in these booths? To remind us of the clouds of glory which protected the Jewish people while they were in the desert. Another time, the Torah tells us, how do the Jewish people know when they are meant to move, when they travel in the desert? It is the clouds which will lift up and move on, and the Jewish people will follow. And these miraculous clouds will actually smooth out the ground. They will flatten any obstacles in the way to provide a smooth and safe surface. Another time where the Torah mentions the idea of the clouds is when the Jewish people are about to go to battle with Amalek, and Moshe tells them, leave the cloud in order to do the battle. So we see that the clouds are mentioned multiple times. However, they are described differently. Sometimes the expression clouds of glory are used, and other times it just says the clouds. What is the difference between the two? The Rebbe explains, there is a simple difference between just clouds and clouds of glory. The latter, their entire purpose was to demonstrate the honor and glory of the Jewish people. There was one set of clouds whose purpose was to protect and provide the Jewish people with their basic needs. And there was another set of clouds whose purpose was exclusively to demonstrate the Jews' honor, namely just how much God honors the Jewish people. So the Rebbe proves to us that there are in fact two different set of clouds. One set, which is just called clouds, and there's another set, which are called the clouds of glory. The clouds are there to protect the Jewish people. They surrounded the Jewish people from above to below, the right side, the left side, the front and the back. They would protect the Jewish people from any and all enemies and provided great comfort and safety and security for the Jewish people. Then you had something else. There was something called the clouds of glory. The clouds of glory represented God's love for the Jewish people, that his presence was together with the Jewish people. When Aaron passed away, which of these clouds disappeared? It was the clouds of glory which showed God's love for the Jewish people. That is, in fact, what disappeared. However, the clouds that surrounded the Jewish people, that protected the Jewish people, that provided comfort and security for the Jewish people, those clouds remained, which is why the Jewish people did not complain. So the answer to question number one, why did the Jews only complain with the well and not with the clouds? Because it was only the clouds of glory, the special symbolic clouds, that were impacted. The basic clouds for protection remained. Therefore, the Jews did not feel a need to riot and rebel and to protest because they were still protected. They had divine protection, safety, and security. Does this mean that the clouds of glory, which represented a special level of Hashem's love for the Jewish people, were gone forever? No. The clouds of glory returned. This time, however, the clouds of glory returned in Moshe's merit. Now, why did they return in Moshe's merit? To answer this question, we need to understand the relationship between why is it that Aaron resulted in having the clouds of glory, and Moshe, who we are told that the man which fell in the desert that provided food for the Jewish people, that was in honor of Moshe. Why is Aaron connected to the clouds of glory? And why is Moshe connected to the man? Right? What's the connection? Why are the clouds of glory attributed to Aaron and the manna to Moshe? So there's a big difference between the clouds of glory and the man. What's the difference between the two? The clouds of glory were the ultimate equalizer, because the clouds of glory enveloped the entire nation as one. It surrounded each and every single Jew in equally and provided comfort and protection equally for every single Jew. So the clouds of glory represent the ultimate unifier and equalizer of the Jewish people. However, man was a slightly different product. Man was distributed based on righteousness. Look how the Gemara describes it. For the righteous, the manna fell at the opening of their homes. They expended no effort at all. The average people went out of the camp and gathered what fell there. The wicked had to go about farther to gather. For the righteous, it fell as baked bread. For average people, it fell as unbaked cakes. For the wicked, it came in an unprocessed form, and constantly they ground it into mills. So we see that man was not something that the Jewish people experienced equally or in any universal fashion at all. There was a very much individualized element to man, where it fell, how it fell, what you had to do with it. Man was a much more individualized experience. This is why the clouds of glory are in the merit of Aaron, and the man was in the merit of Moshe. Because who was Aaron? What was Aaron? He was the ultimate unifier. His entire life was dedicated to peace, to bringing people together. The Torah says that after Aaron passed away, the Jewish people, men and women, mourned for Aaron for 30 days because Aaron was the peacemaker. When a husband and a wife were having challenges, difficulties, he brought them together. He reunited them. He was all about the love. Pirkei Avos, the Mishnah says, Hillel used to say, be of the disciples of Aaron, loving peace and pursuing peace, loving mankind and drawing them close to Torah. Aaron was the ultimate unifier of the Jewish people, and this is why the Jewish people merited this divine protection of the clouds of glory, which equally unified the Jewish people. Both were equalizers. Now, what about Moshe? Moshe, he was, of course, leader of the Jewish people. Why did he become leader of the Jewish people? Because he was the ultimate shepherd. And we're told that what kind of shepherd was Moshe? He gave the appropriate type of grass for the older sheep. He gave the appropriate type of grass for the younger sheep. He took care of the personal, unique, individualized needs of each of the sheep. In a similar fashion, the man took care of the unique individual needs of the Jewish people as well. So therefore, the man, right, was in honor and in the merit of Moshe, who took care and looked after the unique individual needs of the Jewish people. So this leaves us the question. If the clouds of glory were not compatible with what Moshe stood for, how did they return in his merits? If the clouds of glory were all about unity and it being the equalizer, which is the mode of service of Hashem, which represented Aaron, and the manna, right, represented the individual focus and attention, which was the style of Moshe, how all of a sudden did Moshe, the ultimate individualist, how did the clouds of glory, which represent equality, come in his merit? The answer is that Moshe realized that though the clouds aren't my thing, the running peace, loving peace, equalizing, unifying, that type of approach, it's not his thing. Nevertheless, he will make it his thing. Why? Because the Jewish people need it. The Jewish people were missing what the cloud of glory represented. The Jewish people were missing the style of leadership as expressed by Aaron. And Moshe saw that they needed it. Even though it wasn't his style, it wasn't his personality, it wasn't his character, Moshe contributed his unique leadership style to the Jewish people. He said, if they need it, I will make it my thing. It'll become who I am, and Moshe is absolutely going to step up. The Rebbe explains that when Aaron and Miriam passed away, the clouds of glory and the well disappeared, yet they returned in Moshe's merit. This can only mean that Moshe pivoted and adopted a new approach. Moshe's personal approach was that of a shepherd, congruent with the manna, yet he apparently adopted a new approach that was able to bring back the clouds of glory. What is the true sign of a real Jewish leader? When he or she doesn't limit themselves to their own natural approach. Instead, when the hour demands it, they forego their personal preferences, put themselves aside, and dedicate themselves to the needs of another Jew. If the hour demands that another Jew be drawn closer to God, no matter how spiritually primitive they may be, a real Jewish leader sets their personal preferences aside and teaches another Jew the Aleph base. This can mean either the literal Aleph Beis or the Aleph Beis of simple Torah matters. That means the basics. I'm like the high priest. So what am I doing in a cemetery? Others might say. Still, others might say, I'm an advanced Torah scholar. So why do I need to busy myself with returning a lost object, whom the Talmud states is exempt from such activities? This is beneath my dignity. It's just not my thing. I'm a leader, and my thing is to instruct other leaders on how to lead the Jewish nation. I certainly have no business coming in contact with peoples of questionable religious scruples. Moshe was not like that. When Aaron and Miriam passed away, and there was no one left to tend to the matter, the leader of the Jewish people himself turned his attention to the matter and dealt with it, even if it wasn't necessarily befitting his dignity. There is a huge lesson for us in this story. And as the Alter Rebbe says very clearly, this message does not only apply to Moshe, the leaders of the generation, because there's a piece of Moshe in every one of us. The Alter Rebbe writes, every Jew possesses a spark of Moshe. Thus, his behavior contains a message for us all. We all have our thing. Yet when Miriam's well and Aaron's clouds disappear, and now there's danger, you are now responsible to do whatever you can to bring them back, even if it's not your thing. So every person has things that they like, that they're comfortable with, that they enjoy, that they like to do, and that they like to pursue. And then there are other things in our life that we're not so comfortable with. It doesn't really reflect with our personality, outside of our comfort zone. We know they're important. They might be religiously valuable things, or they might be things that are completely secular and just part of everyday normal living outside of a specific mitzvah. But it's not our thing, we're uncomfortable. We know that they could be done, they should be done, but we have resisted doing it. What is the message that we learn from here? If there's something that needs to be done, if there's something that's important, just as Moshe pivoted and changed to do what was necessary and to provide a benefit and a need of the Jewish people, so too we have the ability to say, you know what? It wasn't my thing yesterday. It makes me uncomfortable. But today, it's going to be my thing. Today, I'm going to go out of my way. Today, I'm going to go out of my comfort zone, and I am absolutely going to do it. Now, you might be worried, and you might be nervous, but I'm going to be uncomfortable. I don't like to be uncomfortable. I don't want to be uncomfortable. I get it. I understand it. But the reality is, the only way that a person grows is through doing something challenging, through doing something that's hard, through going out of your comfort zone. How does a person build muscle? You got to stress those muscles. You got to challenge those muscles. How do we build spiritual muscles? We got to stress and challenge those muscles. How do we build character, courage, strength, fortitude? By challenging all those particular issues in life. Whatever the issue may be, a friend in need, a particular experience, a class, a mitzvah, right? Traveling, something that you don't like, what do you got to do? Right? Take it upon yourself, make it your thing, go out of your comfort zone, and you'll be able to provide so much benefit to you, to yourself, and to the entire Jewish community. On Monday, July 25th, we're going to be having a ladies' steak and salad at the shul, 6:30 p.m. It's ladies' night. Join us for an evening complete with a delicious grilled rib steak, plenty of scrumptious salads, and some scotch too. And of course, plenty of schmoozing, laughter, and meaningful discussion, $36 a person. Men's steak and scotch, Thursday, August 11th, 6:30, a guy's night out. Steak and scotch is back with premium scotch, perfectly grilled rib steaks, and salads. It's going to be another great night among good company, also $36 a person. RSVPs can be made, shulcenter.org/steak nights. Emails have also been sent out about the calendar, and you can add in any kind of dates that you want, a great benefit for the entire community. Thank you so much for joining us for tonight's class. There will not be a class next week Next week, I'm going to be out of town, but we will resume in 2 weeks.